How do you spend an entire semester without speaking to your roommate? You want a room change? The housing director asked in disbelief. I fidgeted nervously in my seat and nodded. It's just not working out with Carrie, I answered. Why? He asked curiously. I sat frozen in my seat, unsure what to tell him. I couldn't just tell him that I found out she was sleeping with my boyfriend during orientation week, that I found the messages between them. Don't tell Alex, my boyfriend had texted her, referring to me. She doesn't need to know. It would only hurt her. Carrie hadn't responded to that text, and she wouldn't look at me, guilt written all over her face. I couldn't live with her for a whole semester. The housing director sighed and took off his glasses. Look, he said, there are simply no other rooms, no place I could put you. Either get a place off campus, or suck it up for a semester, and I'll try to move you for the second semester, okay? I let out a breath and nodded. I guess I was staying with Carrie as my roommate. When I got back to our dorm room, Carrie was sitting on her bed with her laptop open. She glanced at me and opened her mouth to say something, but I held up a finger to stop her words. Let's just not speak, I told her coldly. Her mouth snapped shut and she nodded, looking unhappy. For the next few months, we skirted around each other, not saying a word. We left sticky notes on our closet doors and the mini fridge. When the hot water broke, I filed a maintenance report and took care of the whole thing without Carrie knowing. When our RA would stop by asking if everything was okay, we would both say everything was fine, separately. I would cover for her when she had friends over who were a little bit rowdy and noisy. She would cover for me when I had to skip class because I was sick. And through it all, we never said a word to each other. When we ran out of drinks for the mini fridge, Carrie went out and bought more. When we ran out of toilet paper and snacks, I bought us more. We had different schedules for when we showered and studied. The only time we were in the room together for a long period of time was when we were sleeping. Then my boyfriend texted me one night and said he wanted to break up. I hadn't ended things with him yet because I didn't know how to tell him I knew he cheated. I guess I didn't have to do anything. I laid in bed, feeling numb as my phone lit up with texts from my ex. I turned my phone off and went to bed. No tears were shed. A few days later, my mom called me sobbing. Grandma died. She bought me a plane ticket to come home and I packed my things mechanically, tears tracking down my cheeks. Carrie was on her bed, watching me pack with a concerned look on her face. For the first time in months, she spoke to me. Are you all right? She asked. I didn't answer, not knowing what to say. She let it go, watching until I left the room. I was gone for a week, and when I came back, I found out she covered me for the whole week, getting homework assignments for me and telling my teachers that I was sick. A week later, I found Carrie in the bathroom, on the floor, throwing up everywhere and body shaking. She was mumbling something about ruining her life, and I was scared to death, so I called 911 and went to the hospital with her. I stayed in the waiting room until a nurse came out and said she was stable and I could go home. I was relieved that she was going to be okay. I went home alone and sat in my dorm room staring at Carrie's side of the room. Suddenly, I wasn't so angry at her anymore. When she came back from the hospital, she sat me down on my bed. I need to tell you something, she said quietly. I never cheated with your boyfriend, she continued. At least I didn't know he was your boyfriend at the time. He flirted with me while he was still dating you and I was uncomfortable. I told him to stop, but then the night of orientation, he told me he broke up with you a few days before. I believed him like an idiot. I told myself it would just be one time. I was feeling depressed because it was my first time away from my family, going to college. I know that doesn't excuse what I did, but he lied to us both. Tears were streaming down her cheeks by the time she finished. My cheeks were cold as I stared at her. He played us both, I said in a hollow tone. I shook my head in disgust. Then I stood and hugged her. I'm sorry.